Good evening, friends. Today we are going to start the syllabus of subject meteorology and quality control, which is one of the subject in this semester. Uh, the subject code is referred as a 302045. The let us just go through the structure and the say examination scheme, teaching scheme of this subject. uh, the teaching scheme, the theory lectures allotted per week for this subject are 3 hours per week and practical 2 hours per week. As far as the examination scheme is concerned, there are 3 credits for theory subject and 1 credit for the oral. So there are total 4 credits for this subject. In SEM exam will be of 30 marks and end SEM examination will be of 30 marks. So this is just the brief introduction of the structure of the metrology and quality control subjects. Okay, so in theory, basically there are 6 units. For in SEM there will be 3 units, and for end SEM the exam will be on all the 6 units, but the weightage will vary. As far as the course objectives of this subject are concerned, now what is the meaning of the course objective? The meaning of the course objective is what the students are expected to learn from this particular contents. So the course objectives defined by the Pune University are as follows. Basically there are 5 course objectives. So first objective is select the suitable instrument oblique gauge oblique method of inspection for determining the geometrical and dimensional measurements. So as many of you are aware that this subject is very close to manufacturing section. Okay, so nothing is possible without measurements. That's why the students are expected to select the proper instrument of the measurement, or it may be a gauge. Sometimes various gauges are used, so you should be able to select proper gauge. Then method of inspection for determining the geometrical and dimensional measurements, so you should be able to select proper method of inspection so that your requirement of the of measuring the dimensional features, geometrical features is fulfilled. That is the objective number 1. The second objective is calibrate the measuring instruments and also design the inspection gauges. So here you might have heard this word to calibrate. So whenever you are using any kind of instrument, that instrument must have been calibrated. Means in simple words, the word calibrate means to ensure that whatever instrument you are using, that is in good working condition, and the results given by that particular instrument are correct and they are reliable. So that is the second objective. Third, understand the advances in metrology such as CMM. CMM is coordinate measuring machine. Then lasers, machine vision system for metrology. So this third objective is basically related with the advances in metrology. So apart from say conventional methods of measurement, advanced tools are used for measurements such as CMM, coordinate measuring machine. You might have heard this word also. Then CMM is nothing but it is a machine which measures the coordinates of a particular point. So you can measure the coordinates of a particular position and get the measurements. Then use of the lasers. So lasers can be used for metrology applications. Machine vision system. So this is advanced automatic inspection system. So without any human intervention, the measurements can be carried out. This is the third objective. The fourth objective is select and apply appropriate quality control techniques for given application. So many a times it is the duty of the quality control engineer or quality control in charge, quality control manager, quality assurance in charge to select and apply the appropriate quality control technique. So in any manufacturing say organization, there is a one separate department called as a quality control or quality assurance department, and the objective of this particular department is to make sure that the quality of the product is always ensured. So it is a continuous monitoring and prevention, you can say monitoring and defect prevention activity. It is unending process. Every time you have to add something to your defect prevention technique. So it is a continuous process as per the product portfolio. It is the duty of the quality control in charge or quality control engineer to select the proper quality control techniques. There are a number of quality control techniques are there. So out of those quality control techniques, which technique is the most suitable for your product, that has to be selected and applied. Then fifth objective is select and apply quality management tools and suggest appropriate quality management system. Again, it is the duty of the quality control engineer and quality control manager to select and apply quality management tools. There are various quality management tools are there. You might have heard about the fishbone diagram. Then you might have heard about the fault tree analysis. Likewise Pareto analysis, which is also called as 80-20 analysis. So so many quality management tools are there. So you have to select and apply those tools. Also you have to suggest some quality management systems. For example, you might have heard about the ISO 9000 or TS 16949, ISO 14000. These are nothing but the quality management systems. So it is the duty of the quality control in charge to select the proper quality management system. So the students are expected from this course, these are the course objectives. Students are expected to do these things during their curriculum. Then the course outcomes. After the course objectives, what the meaning of the course outcome is nothing but what the students should be able to do after learning the these particular contents. So first is the students should be able to understand the methods of measurement, selection of measuring instruments, standards of measurement, carry out data collection and its analysis. So students will be able to select the different methods of measurement. They will be able to select the measuring instruments, standards of measurement. They should be able to carry out the data collection and its analysis. This is very important part of for any quality control technique. So as you can see, the data collection and its analysis. So if you want to analyze uh, any kind of defect or any kind of failure, for that failure it is very important that you carry out the data collection and you will analyze that data properly. Then second is uh, students will be able to explain the tolerance, limit of the size, fits, geometric and positional tolerance, and gauge design. So you might have heard about this tolerance. So what is the meaning of tolerance, how to select the amount of tolerance, how to select the sizes, different types of the fits, geometric and positional tolerance, and you are also able to do the gauge design. Gauges in case of the mass production, for quick inspection, the gauges, limit gauges are used. So you are going to study how to design these limit gauges. That is also to be studied. So that is the second outcome. Then third outcome is understand and use / apply quality control techniques, statistical tools appropriately. So after learning the contents of this syllabus, you will be able to understand and apply the various quality control techniques as well as statistical tools. Then fourth outcome is students should be able to develop an ability of problem solving and decision making by identifying and analyze the cause for the variation and recommend suitable corrective action for the quality improvement. So this is very important course outcome. After learning this, you should be able to solve any kind of problem related to quality issue, and you should be able to make the decision. So making the decision will be only possible if you identify and analyze the cause for any kind of variation or cause for any kind of defect. So and recommend the after once you analyze the cause for the variation, it is very simple to recommend the corrective action. So these things should be able to do by the students after learning the contents of the syllabus. Now before starting with the directly contents of the syllabus, so metrology, what is a metrology? So metrology is nothing but it is a science of measurement. As you can see, this word is very important. Metrology, it is a science of in bracket there is a written as a precision measurement. So whatever you are measuring, that should be very precise. Precise means it should be repeatable. So it should not happen that the reading taken by say different people have a large amount of variation. That should not happen. So that is not a precise work. So metrology is science of precise measurement. Now this word metrology is derived from two Greek words. What are these two Greek words? These two Greek words are metro and logy. Metro means measurement and logy means science. So it is again science of measurement. Now what metrology is doing? Metrology is basically concerned with establishment, reproduction, conservation and transfer of units of measurement and their standards. So what in this particular statement, it has been tried to show the scope of this particular subject. Means what the metrology is doing, it is concerned with the establishing the units of measurement. So if you say derive any new term, so whatever term you are deriving, that must be measurable. So you should be able to give the unit to a particular, say particular kind of measurement. Let it be any kind of measurement, there must be unit. Nothing is possible without measurement, and measurement must have some kind of unit. For example, the unit of the length is meter, it is a IS standard. Like that, the unit of the weight is actually Newton. Similarly, it is concerned with the reproduction, conservation and transfer of units of measurement. So it is basically again related with the conservation of the units of measurement and transfer of units of measurements and their standards. For example, measurement of some examples are given. What are those examples? The examples are measurement of the length, measurement of angles, width, depth, diameter and straightness with high accuracy. So these are just few of the examples of metrology. Now basic elements of any kind of measuring system. What are the basic elements of any kind of measuring system? The basic elements of the measuring system are, first, it is related, it will start with this workpiece. So workpiece is, so basic elements means what is required to complete any kind of measurement. So first is the workpiece is necessary. Then measuring instrument is required. So for any kind of measurement, measuring instrument is must. So that is again important. Then the person means whoever is going to carry out that particular measurement, that is required. Then environment. So whatever elements are there, all these elements are going to constitute the measurement system. So all these elements are going to influence the measurement system. Environment, then software, method, standard, all these are the basic elements of the measuring system. All these are required to complete any kind of measurement, and all these are going to say contribute to the measurement system. Then what is the necessity and objectives of metrology? Before going to some characteristics, why we need the metrology? So first and biggest requirement of the metrology is interchangeability. So you might have heard this word interchangeability. So interchangeable part requires fast production of say n number of identical components which can be fitted interchangeably. For I can give any example. Suppose you are driving your say two-wheeler, and you come to know that suddenly the tire of your vehicle gets burst, and you need to you cannot say repair it. You have to replace that tire. So here the interchangeably comes into picture. So if you want to replace that tire, you must precisely define the specifications of the tire, and those specifications, the tires of those specifications are easily available in any say tire sale shop. Okay, so you can give that specification, you can buy that tire, and you can easily replace that tire and you can go to your work. But what will happen if interchangeability, so this is possible because of interchangeability follows certain standards. So standards are nothing but universally accepted designations. So same standards are followed everywhere. So if you go anywhere and you say you give you give the requirement of a particular component with particular requirement, the same component is available everywhere in each city, in each taluka of say in the entire world. Okay, so that is the beauty of the interchangeability, and this is possible only if you follow the standards, and metrology covers those standards. Okay, then metrology also what it does, it also reduces the rework and scrap by providing results of in process inspection for controlling the parameters of the production. So this is very important. Metrology helps to reduce the rework and scrap, because at every stage of the manufacturing you are going to carry out the measurements, inspection, some intermediate checks will be there. So with those with the help of those intermediate inspection process, you will be able to reduce the scrap and rework. uh, Metrology also helps to know the uncertainty associated with the measurements done. So always there is some kind of uncertainty will always be there with each kind of measurement. But if you are following some standards, that uncertainty is known, and it will help to a great extent. uh, to be useful, measurements must be done in units that are standardized. As I told you that standardization is very important. So all the units must be standardized, so that the advantage of standards that everybody follows the same unit. So there is no question of the diversity. Okay, and everybody will understand the logic, and they can manufacture the component with the same accuracy that is desirable and that is maintainable. And whatever errors are there, that errors can occur with known quantity. So these are some of the you can say objectives of the metrology. Now what is this measuring instrument? Measuring instrument is a device that transforms a measured quantity into indication or information. So this is the very simple definition of the measuring instrument. It is any device that measures the quantity and displays it or gives the information. Then some of the characteristics which are related to any kind of measuring instrument are the measuring range. For example, measuring range is nothing but the maximum and minimum capacity. So in short, what the measuring range tells? The measuring range gives the information about what is the minimum value that can be measured and what is the maximum value that can be measured with a particular kind of measuring instrument. So in short, it tells the capacity of a particular instrument. If you let us take the example of the scale that everybody uses. So everybody has a scale of 15 centimeters in your compass box. So if you see that compass, if you see that scale properly, you can see that that scale can measure the maximum dimension of 15 centimeters, isn't it, and minimum of 0. So its range is a 0 to 15 mm. So 0 to 15 mm, 0 to 15 centimeter is the measuring range of the scale. So in short, it tells, as I told you, it tells the capacity of particular instrument. It is very important to know the range of each and every instrument, because in your objective you have seen that students should be able to select a particular instrument. So depending upon the range of the instrument, you have to select the proper instrument for your requirement. Suppose you want to measure a length of say 25 centimeters. So if you want to measure the 25 centimeters, you cannot measure that particular 25 centimeters with the scale that you are having, because 25 centimeter is beyond the range of the range of the scale available with you. So you have to go for other instrument. Then measuring sensitivity. Measuring sensitivity is nothing but it is the quotient of increase in observed value and corresponding increase in measured quantity. It is very simple. Sensitivity. In each instrument, what is happening? In each measuring instrument, you are measuring something, and whatever measured quantity, that is being displayed in some other form. Okay, so sensitivity shows it is the quotient of increase in observed value and corresponding increase in measured quantity. That is called as a sensitivity. So whatever instrument you are using, that should be say properly sensitive. Then third characteristic is a scale interval. Scale interval is nothing but the difference between two successive scale marks. So again, if you take the example of your scale, in that if you observe that scale carefully, then you can see that some in between say 0 to 15 centimeter there are 150 scale marks are there. Okay, so means that if you take the first scale mark and if you take the second scale mark, then the difference between these two scale marks is nothing but 1 mm. Okay, so that 1 mm is the scale interval for the scale that you are using. So for different instrument, that scale interval can be different. So it can, for any you might have, there are so many instruments are there, and for each instrument this scale interval can be different. Then discrimination. So another characteristics of the instrument means it is the ability of the instrument to react to small changes of the measured quantity. Means it is very important that the instrument that you are using should be discriminatable. For example, means whatever you are measuring, that should be that should be promptly say indicated by that particular instrument. It should, whatever instrument you are using, that should quickly react to small change of the measured quantity. So the instrument must be highly discriminable. Then next is a hysteresis. So what is hysteresis? It is again the difference between indication of a measuring instrument when same value of measured quantity is reached by increasing or decreasing that quantity. So it is also called as a say sometimes you might have observed that if you are measuring uh, you are taking some kind of measurements. So while taking measurements you are increasing some input, and after increasing input you are getting some kind of output. So you are increasing the input in certain steps, okay, and as you increase the input in certain steps you are going to get the output in that relation. But when you reduce that input, then output is also going to decrease. So hysteresis tells the difference between indication of measuring instrument when same value of measured quantity is reached by increasing or decreasing that quantity. So ideally you should get the same values when you increase the input and when you decrease the input, okay, but sometimes it doesn't happen. That is also called as a loading curve and unloading curve. uh, so we'll see this hysteresis in detail. Then why this happens, it is very important why this hysteresis comes into picture. The reason is dry friction, then elastic deformation. So these are some of the reasons for hysteresis. Loading and unloading curves may be different, okay. For example, pointer not returning completely to zero when load is removed. All of you might have seen the say you can say dial gauge, okay. Many of you have seen the dial gauge. In the dial gauge, when no load is applied, the pointer of the dial gauge shows 0, okay. But if you press the pointer of if you press the plunger of the dial, the pointer will move slowly, and it will increase as you increase the load at the plunger, okay. But when that load is slowly removed, ideally when you remove the entire load on the say dial gauge, in that case ideally the pointer of that dial gauge should come to 0 because there is a no load at the plunger. So initial condition before applying the load should be reinsisted, but that doesn't happen, and this is called as a hysteresis. This is the example of the hysteresis. Then bias. Response time is again one. I have not written any explanation, but the response time should be very very less. Response time means it is the difference between taking the measurement and displaying that particular measurement. So the response time of the measuring instrument should be very very less. So whatever is sensed at the input, that should be instantly seen in the output. So there should not be any kind of the time lag. This is very important in dynamic conditions. In if you are taking the some readings when a system is continuously changing, okay. So for example you can say you are taking the readings of the vibration scale. Okay, so and input is the speed. So what your objective is to take the readings of the vibration level at different speeds of the shaft. So if the shaft speed is say 100 rpm and the vibration level is a 10, if the if the shaft speed is increased to 200 rpm, the shaft speed is say, the vibration level is a 20. So this type of the data is required. So whenever the speed of the shaft reaches say 200 rpm, it should instantly give that display. So the response time should be very less. There should not be any kind of the lag between the between time of taking the measurement and display of the that particular characteristic. Then another characteristic is a bias. So bias is nothing but it is a characteristic of measuring instrument to give the indication of the value of measure quantity whose average differs from true value of that quantity. So you can some new terms are coming here, that is a you can see average average differs from the true value of that quantity. Means if you are say measuring the dimension of you are trying to measure the diameter of a shaft, then in that case you measure you take the diameter of the shaft, say the diameter of the shaft is say its true value which is say 50 mm, and if you measure the value with the instrument available to you, and that value is coming as say 50.1 mm, 50.3 mm, 50.2 mm, 50.4 mm. Why these 4-5 values are coming? Because you are taking the readings at say different times, or different say operator is taking those readings. So its average value is say around 50.2 mm or 50.2 mm, whereas the true value, now what is the true value? True value is the value which is say you can say it is a correct value which is a determined say which is a determined with the most sophisticated techniques. So there may this difference may be there. The true value is say 50 mm, and the average value which is determined by you people by the instrument available with you. Now this difference is there. Actual value is 50 mm, whereas the shown value or measured value is 50.2. So there is a difference of 0.2 mm. Now this may be the characteristics of the instrument that you are using. Means what it is doing, this instrument is giving you the result as a bias. Bias means it is always showing the indication as a higher value. Means it is the characteristic of that particular. For example, you can take the example of say umpires in say cricket. So it was used to happen that in say early 80s, or you can say in early 80s, if the match was between say cricket match was between India and Pakistan, then nowadays it is the policy of the ICC that the umpires will be of that country, will be of the neutral country. For example, if India and Pakistan are playing, then none of the umpire will be from India and Pakistan, and they will be from some other country, because there were some allegations were raised in early in 80s or early 90s that if the umpire is from the country which are involved in that particular say match, then the people used to say that that umpire is biased. So if the umpire is from say Indian side, then the people say that the umpire is biased and he is giving the decisions from which are favorable to India. So bias is nothing but doing some favor or giving the results or decisions in somebody's favor. So to that characteristics may be there with your instrument also. So that that has to be considered. So this was the just introductory part of our syllabus. In the next lecture we are going to see some other concept, that is the principles of engineering metrology, and we'll see the types of the instruments, standards of the measurement, that we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you.